Hello, everyone. Let's do a minor hair adjustment. I'm literally just getting back from the hair salon from getting it done. Isn't it gorgeous? And of course, this was a new hairstylist that I found. And a natural way that any conversation begins is, so what do you do? And I led with what I do. I help people with the internal transformation of their unconscious beliefs. And she kind of looked at me like, "Mhm." And so knowing the look, being familiar with the look and the what is that? What exactly is that? I said, so I used to specialize. I still specialize, but it's transformed to become so much more with people who've gone through emotionally unavailable and abusive relationships and still got a little bit of the tell me more. And I said narcissistic relationships is my area of expertise and specialty. And she said, oh, and not changing the narcissist, but working with people who have been in relationships like that because, hi, hello, that used to be me. Hand raised here, putting myself out there. And she said, I think I might be in one of those. And I said, really, how so? And she's like, well, and there were so many signs and stories that she shared that I thought, and it prompted and encouraged and motivated and inspired me to do this video because these were definitely classic signs. Started off that their day began with a fight, and she was getting an abundance, just a plethora of text messages that she had to attend to, that she was saying, gosh, I just feel like I just need to attend to his needs all the time. And I feel like I get complimented or for being compliant, for being a good girl, like, good girl, you did this. And she shared that they had an argument this morning and she just felt like she had to apologize for it. And this was going on consistently. They had been together for 7 months, understanding, and through her sharing what she shared more about this, they've been together for 7 months. She moved in after 3. And I thought, girl, you're speaking to me. That is exactly what I went through with narcissists in the past with my daughter's dad. And it was classic. It was literally classic. It was like seeing someone living my own life. And I had a sense of, obviously, a special place in my heart for that and in gratitude for having gone through that and where life is now. In every way, it's so different. And in every way, it doesn't mean that that's perfect. It is just so different. When you do the internal transformational work, when you really connect with your unconscious beliefs. And she asked, well, what are those? And I said, well, it's generally one of 3 things. And the first and most prominent and evident is I'm not blank enough. Whatever it is, whatever the story is, there's a story perpetuating and playing in your mind. And she said, okay, so it's kind of like your thoughts. And I said, well, where do your thoughts come from? And again, got the what look. I said, it's the core and the source of where your thoughts come from, your beliefs. First, you make your beliefs, and then your beliefs make you. Your beliefs dictate your thoughts. Your thoughts lead to actions, and actions obviously lead to a particular and certain outcome. And I just got one of these. Yep. And I asked her to continue, please. And so she shared with me, well, he's great. It's just that. And went into everything that followed that. This is what he does, this is what he doesn't. He was on his way to sending flowers, and I asked, how often does this happen? And she's like, well, like, I mean, every time we get in a fight and I feel like I'm complying and I feel like he's grooming me. Like every time I notice that I just give in and I just have this pattern, and there was the heaviness there, the pattern of just being compliant, being a good girl, doing what I'm told, and like patted on the head, like, good girl. I feel like I'm being conditioned. If you're in a relationship where you feel like you're being conditioned, chances are you're being conditioned. And she said, I just feel like he's grooming me. I'm like, well, that's one of the signs. So if you feel like that, you're probably right. And I said, so what ways does this feel familiar? And she's like, oh, well, the last guy I dated. And so it was immediately an experience of, this feels familiar. This is familiar to me. And oftentimes the detriment of these types of relationships that are like this is that they become so familiar, they're unfamiliar. And there's a lot of like, I'm just trying to figure out if this person is a narcissist. If the person that you're dating or with, that is the question that you're contemplating, I'm trying to figure out if they're a narcissist. This is not a relationship that you should be in, because it's a reflection of things going on internally, unconsciously with you. Your own belief system is being presented to you through your thoughts, through these actions, these habits that are so familiar, now they're unfamiliar. And if you've been in this type of relationship or situation, you know what this is like. It's really? You think so? And it's something inside of you screaming, you don't just think so, and you're not asking that person outside of you or that person you're talking to if they think so. This is a reflection of your inner voice saying, you know so. You know that there are red flags here that you're dismissing. But the green flag were the flowers that were just delivered because you felt like you complied and you were being groomed and you got a little pat on the head. Good job. You apologized. You did what you were told. And she said, gosh, I just feel like I have to just sit here and text him all day and be and just coddle his feelings. She said he almost treats me as if it's, and of course was using general terms, men are just like this. No, not all men are like that. They're not. I can assure you, I promise you. But said, it's just that men just think that we're just supposed to, it's just a privilege to be with them. And I was thinking, well, it is a privilege to be with some men, especially men who are not narcissistic, who don't have these types of traits and who don't treat you this way and are not grooming you to be a particular or certain thing in relationships where you have freedom to be yourself, freedom to express yourself, where you feel safe, where you feel heard and loved and understood and appreciated, and where your voice matters and there's a room for it to be heard, not squashed or squandered or just complied to a particular certain way. So no, not all men are that way. Not all women are that way either. And just sharing of the type of relationship, she was sharing beautiful blonde, gorgeous long blonde hair, almost down to her waist, and saying, "Oh, she's had this hair for 6 years, been dating this guy for 7 months, moved in after 3, and she doesn't have to pay for anything." She said, "I just love that he just pays for everything, and I don't have to pay for rent." And I'm like, "Cha-ching!" Right? That was exactly what it was like with past narcissist, with the narcissist in my life. It was, move in with you, I will take care of you, I will provide for you, I will pay for everything. There's nothing you need to do except lose your soul and just comply in every area of your life. And then telling me that she's changing her hair next week. She's had it this way for 6 years. And I asked her, what is the color that you absolutely love, that you feel the most alive and vibrant with yourself with? And for me, it's blonde because I'm naturally blonde. And I've done every color, but any color outside of that, it leads to me not feeling like myself, but I have done it for certain relationships in the past. And she's like, oh, my boyfriend wants me to have really, really dark brown hair. So I'm going to change it next week. And I thought, oh my gosh, girl, you are changing your identity. And the kicker there was a certain awareness of it there. There was an awareness that she acknowledged that she was being groomed. She acknowledged that she felt like she had to appease his feelings all the time, and that he was in the relationship with her in such a way that she was made to feel like it should be an honor and a privilege to be with him. And that she was changing her hair drastically and dramatically for him, that she moved in with him after 3 months. She was 45 years old. She has 3 grown kids. He had a 6.5-year-old, and he's talking about getting her pregnant. That's exactly what the last narcissist did with me, how I ended up with my daughter. And I'm so grateful and thankful for her. She changed my life in every way. Getting out of that relationship changed my life in every way. But more so than anything, the transformation of my personal internal unconscious beliefs shifted and changed everything. Everything, everything, everything. And now I love, love, love having the honor and the privilege of working with people to do that same thing. So in every way, they can live the life that they deserve to live. One of freedom, one of expression, one of joy, one of connection, one of a true, real, genuine, authentic identity of knowing who they are, and not just stopping there, but who they are in Christ, and who he says that they are, and aligning that identity with him. And so there's different programs that we have for different stages, phases, and places that you are in this transformation of your life. But I just wanted you to realize that some things become so familiar that they become unfamiliar. She told me about her first marriage, the 13-year relationship after that, how she didn't even want to be in this relationship. After the 13-year relationship ended, she found herself in a 10-year relationship. Again, I didn't even want to be dating and be in a relationship, but here I am. And it's just this Cinderella princess complex of, oh, he's going to waltz in and just swoop in and take care of me, and I'm going to change all these things about me to suit him, and it's never going to be enough. And there's constant arguments, and every time there's an argument, I get flowers. And I said to her, the best apology is not flowers, it's changed behavior. In what ways has the behavior changed, if any? And she looked at me like, no, this is just the way it is. This is the way it always is. And it becomes so familiar. And conversations like this are so surface level, are so scratch the surface. Yeah, I know. I think I just need to give it a little more time, though, without going deeper and understanding that this is a personal internal belief. This is a subconscious belief. And so we talked about that more. What areas of your life do you feel like it's not blank enough? What areas of your life do you feel like it's always been this way? It's never going to change. That you're different, and you. This is actually an unconscious familiar pattern. It's become so familiar that it's unfamiliar because this new relationship is different. They may have a different name, but you're being treated the same way. The thoughts, the emotions, the energy, the frequencies that you have are familiar, are similar, are, oh, this feels like another opportunity to make up for where I didn't get to make things right in the past, where I feel like I was made wrong for that. This is another opportunity. So the subconscious mind likes it. It becomes this adrenaline high where you think, oh, all the time, not consciously, of course, but I get another chance. I get another opportunity to state my claim and to have this space. And she's like, gosh, I just need space from him. Literally, the moment that the flowers were delivered and the delivery man shut the door, she's like, I need to get away from this. I need space from this. If that's the reaction when your significant other delivers flowers to your place of work, and I know, and I've been there too. I told her about the story and the time in the past where I was delivered 24 18-inch long stem roses to the door and immediately threw them in the garbage can. Not just the small kitchen one, the big black one outside. And then I think I went somewhere because I said, I need to get away from this. I need some space from this. And when I returned home, they were back on the kitchen counter. And so I told her how I snapped them in half, ripped the butt off, and threw them back in the black trash can. Money doesn't buy apology. The best apology is change behavior. And the most incredible apology that you can lend to yourself is a sincere, genuine apology, a complete commitment and promise to yourself outside of any kind of toxic, emotionally unavailable, or abusive relationship to do the internal work to transform your personal, internal, unconscious beliefs, those beliefs that either keep you imprisoned or will set you free. Any belief that says, I'm not blank enough. And when I get into a relationship where I have to prove it, is not a beneficial belief. Any relationship that says, well, I just need to appease or please and I should be so privileged. No, 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 not healthy. It's not one with emotional strength and emotional intelligence. And she went on to explain that, in her past relationships, so this person was just boring. No wonder you entered into a relationship with a narcissist, because they're anything but boring. They're constantly leaving you second guessing and questioning and wondering where you stand or where you sit with them, or even if you're allowed to stand or if you're allowed to sit, or is it here or is it there? Am I going to get trouble if I sit here? Well, you'll get mad at me if I just stand over there, because you're going to say, gosh, look how pathetic you are. Look at you, you freaking XYZ. And you're like, no, please, please, please don't call me that, begging, like a submissive position. And you feel like you deserve to be in that place. No one deserves to be in a place of submissive position. And when you know your worthiness, when you know your value, and you not just say you have value or worthiness, but it is embedded in you internally and consciously because you know who created you, that doesn't come into question or into play anymore. You're deeply and firmly rooted and grounded in that. But when you're not, you're floundering in it. All the questions and all the, you really think it's this way? I'm not sure. I probably need to figure out if they are. I'm going to stay even longer to figure them out. If you're in a relationship that you need to figure out if someone's a narcissist, you need to get out. You don't need to stay to figure it out. But it often becomes so unfamiliar, it becomes familiar. And the mind likes what's familiar. It goes, this feels comforting. This feels like I'm at ease. This feels like I'm at home. I'm like a little cozy, comfy jacket that I've got on and it fits just right. That is because of the internal lies that have been embedded in your unconscious mind, in your belief system. First it goes beliefs, and then those direct and activate the thoughts, have you have the certain thoughts in a certain way when you get a certain emotion or feeling, or when a certain thing happens. Oh, there's this thought, and then there's an action or inaction, which is also action from that thought. And the cycle continues and the cycle perpetuates. So if you find yourself in this place, we've got to ask, what beliefs do I have? What personal, internal, unconscious beliefs? And you can't just ask them, because there's a certain level of awareness of them until your mind hits what feels like an internal invisible wall and goes, and with the unknown, you're going to continue to search until you find the known, until you know that you know. And when you know that you know your worthiness and your value and everything that is so incredible and so amazing that you are, and get to a place where you respect and appreciate that about yourself, then and only then should you even think about entering into a relationship with anyone else, because otherwise you're going to continue to look for that outside of yourself, externally, and in a relationship where it probably won't be. And that's how we find ourselves in these cycles times and time again, because it's become it's so unfamiliar, or so familiar that it's unfamiliar. And it's like, what are you talking about? And I had to come to this realization within the space and place within myself, where I realized it was me. This external is a reflection of my internal, and take ownership of ownership of that, and responsibility to that, to say, okay, I'm done with the victim game. I'm done with the blame game. I'm done even saying their name. I'm done even saying the word narcissist. And of course I have to for the context of these videos, but to drop all that and forgive yourself, and forgive them, and get into this place of really, really, really understanding what unconscious beliefs are running your life. What are the ones that are navigating your life? Like, they're in the driver's seat of your life. And if you constantly find that you're steering off and going off course to where you desire to go, here's where I desire to go. I want to be married. I want to be in a loving, compassionate, respectful relationship. But I keep ending up in these types of relationships. When you take your hand off the wheel, what is it that's navigating and directing where it goes? It's your internal, personal, unconscious belief system. What is it saying about you? What is it forming and shaping into the identity of who you say you are and believe you are? Not consciously, because consciously we'll say, well, I'm a really nice person. I deserve better. All these things I do for you. We get it. We know we're nice, but it's not enough. It's not just enough to know that you're nice. And nice people get taken advantage of and walked all over all the time, because they seem to have no backbone. And we go, well, no one's perfect. Well, of course, no one's perfect, but we can't use that as an excuse to be treated poorly, or to accept treatment and emotional manipulation and abuse constantly. Just that phrase, well, no one's perfect. Of course we're not. We're human. We all need a savior. Same as Jesus. But a lot of us can go, yeah, no, I'm going to figure it out on my own. We'll have fun. That's what I used to think. And thinking that I thought that I could figure it out on my own, kept finding ones that were the same. It wasn't until I said my own name and said, okay, Sarah, there's the thing you've got to do. You've got to get to these internal unconscious beliefs. What's the programming that's running your life? Who's steering the ship? Because it doesn't feel like you, and you certainly don't want it to be them anymore. And it takes getting to the point, sadly, where you get into enough pain, because pain is a motivator. Pain says change. You don't like this thing, I want it to go a different way. And so when you find that you're in relationships that are constantly the same, what about them is not bad enough? The pain hasn't gotten to a place where it has become a motivator for you to change, not just to say that they need to change. Because I used to be in that place as well. I was in so much pain that I was the one that said that they needed to change. And that was avoiding responsibility. And in that place and in that context, you think, well, maybe I'm the narcissist because they avoid responsibility. They always say that it's me. They're always blaming someone else. Well, guess who's doing the same thing? I'm willing to take on my own name and this own pain and use it as motivation for transformational change and not just do the surface level work. Oh, I journaled, I talked to someone, I watched a video about narcissism, and I gotta figure out if this person is or isn't. Insert eye roll. And I can insert that eye roll because that used to be me too. And if that is you and you're expecting a different outcome, that's the definition of insanity. You're doing the same thing, but expecting things to change. But the beauty about pain is it can be a motivator for change. And I got into enough pain, sadly, where all I did was sit around and talk or think about how it could end and understand or understood, or at least had the thought, there's got to be more to life than this. There has to be more to life than this, and went on a quest. And it's what led me to doing what I do now when I work with people, to changing, shifting their internal transformational beliefs. And so when she said, so what do you do? And I said, I help empower people through the transformation of their internal beliefs. She looked at me like, oh, hello. And I said, hi, nice to meet you. Of course, and then got into the story of our lives. But the story of our lives does not have to be the rest of our life. Through that internal transformation of your personal unconscious beliefs, you get to rewrite your life. You get to have the difference in the ending look vastly different than the beginning. You get to break the cycle. You get to break the curse. You get to completely be on a different trajectory and path, but not with the same internal beliefs. No, those will keep you exactly on the path that you're on. You might have a different partner on the path, but you're not going to get past that point that you always seem to hit. Different relationship, up, got back to the same point. Different relationship, up, got back to the same point. Same pattern. There's gift in there for you. There's gold in there for you. There's also pain in there for you, but that pain could be a motivator for radical change. But only if the internal unconscious beliefs change. If not, you stay the same. And I can say this with so much love now because I've been through it and I've taken hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of clients through it over the year. Just go check the website and see the testimonials and the videos and all the things. Because there's something inside of you that says, please, 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 I want you to get this. I want you to see this. I want you to know this. That these things you've been through don't have to stop you. They don't have to be the continual, perpetual cycle of your life. And the things that you say, I don't know, maybe next time. Or maybe the answer is just stay single forever. I used to think that was the answer as well. It's not. It's not. We were made for community. We're made for connection. We're made for support. We're made for our belief system to support us, to deeply support us and motivate us, not to keep hitting the wall of pain, but for powerful, radical change, complete transformation in our lives, to literally live the best of our lives for the rest of our lives, for things to get better and better and better, to expand our emotional intelligence and not just have awareness. Awareness is where it begins. And her and I had that conversation as well. While you're aware, right, but you can be aware that you need to change and still never change. You're just always aware that you need to change. You should be doing something different. So you're living a shitty life, shitting all over yourselves. Well, I should do this. I could do this. But if only they would do this or stop doing that. Okay. Getting out of that and getting into here and into here and aligning those with beliefs that are true about you. that you are enough, that you're not so different that no one else gets you, that we all have internal emotional pain that we deeply desire to change. And a lot of times that pain comes through the motivator, or the motivation to change comes through the pain. So not getting mad at the pain and not dismissing it, not trying to run from it, not trying to numb it. And when we notice that that's an internal perpetual pattern that we have, not just being aware of that and saying, well, I'm aware of it, but I keep going back to it. Well, what good does that do you or anyone else? You're aware of it, but you keep doing it, and you're surprised that you're not getting a different outcome. It's craziness. That's insanity. And when you're tired of feeling crazy and insane crazy, you say, hey, I am ready to get into alignment with my personal internal beliefs, with the identity that I have, not just in me, but in Christ, if you want to take it there, because that's the road that it's led me to. And it's an incredibly beautiful road. It's a road that never ends. It's a journey of continuing to live and walk with him and breathe with him and just be in him and who God says you are, who he created you to be. And that's not for this video. It's for another one. And we've got some more about that too. So you want to go check this out, that's fine. But realizing you've been making lies real. You've been realizing all those lies that lied inside your unconscious mind. You've been making them real. And so it becomes your reality, it becomes your identity, it becomes who you say you are. That is not who you are. It isn't. And so the internal transformation from the motivation through the pain that you experience, you get to live a completely different way. It's a beautiful way. It's a glorious way. It's a way where you get to say, yes, today. Yes, today, I respect myself. I treat myself well. I believe in myself. I am enough. Everything that I desire is available to me, because that's another internal unconscious belief that what I want is not available to me. And I have to work for it. I have to prove myself to this person so that they will give it to me and deliver it to me on a golden freaking platter. No, it's not the way it works. No. But you also don't need to prove it and be someone that you're not and conform to someone that you're not, fit inside this box because they said, or because you feel like you should because of them. Where did that belief come from? What would happen if that belief said, no, I don't need to do a thing. Who I am is complete. Who I am is whole. Who I am is enough. And not in a egotistical, self-righteous, like, I don't need to change for anyone, not like in a stone, cold-hearted way, but in a way that says, I have faith. I have faith in me, and I don't need to be a certain thing or pretend to be a certain thing to be loved, to believe that I love, to going within and healing all those places, the places of abandonment, the places that harbor fear, the places that are holding on to resentment, the places that are keeping you prisoner from unforgiveness. And a complete shift and change of your personal, internal, unconscious beliefs, where you get to say your name. And you get to say your name and be proud and know that all of that you went through wasn't for nothing. It was to bring you to this moment where you deeply, deeply, deeply believe in the truth of who you are. Beautiful, worthy, deserving, enough as you are. And that does not highlight or showcase or invite that in. That says you'll never win. But to know, because of this internal transformation, you have and you will continue to, and will continue to evolve and grow and expand and be able to hold more emotionally mature conversations and levels instead of keeping yourself stuck at that. Because if once you've been there, you realize it's not fun to be there and you don't want to continue to perpetuate the cycle of being there. And so not being there requires an internal transformation in here within your unconscious mind. Capiche? When you're ready for that, I would love to connect with you. This is the journey and the transformation that my clients get to experience when they have experienced things like that. And there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing bad about you because you've gone through emotional abuse, neglect in the past, or narcissistic relationships, whether it was with a parent or partner. It's just as an awareness that that pain can be used for motivation to change. And that type of change, the deep internal unconscious change, subconscious change at the core belief system level, transforms your thoughts, your habits, your actions, and your patterns. And you get to the place that you've always desired to be in, the place where you're filled with joy, the place where you're filled with freedom, the place where love is expansive and is expressed in a safe way, the place where you can trust trust, the place where you can trust safety and comfort and that internal knowing, that intuition that has been there trying to poke at you and tell you, hello, 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 this is a thing. Don't just be aware of it. Do something about the thing that you're aware of. And everything gets into this beautiful place of alignment where you are aware. And you're not just aware that you're aware, but you are aware of how valuable you are and how worthy and how deserving you are. And allow your subconscious beliefs to support these things because they're true. That's my desire for you. But I always say you can't want something more for someone else than they want it for themselves. And you can't ever change anyone else. You can only commit to doing the work yourself. So when you're ready to step into the space and place of doing the work, I would love to connect with you. You can find out more using the link in the description below this video. That's it for today. Bye for now.